officials for this match. First referee, Mr. Fernando Velarde. Second referee, Ms. Joy De Imos. Let us welcome our starting lineup from our Cignal HD Spikers. They're led by their team captain at number 3, Rachel Ann Dakis. At number 7, Frances Cinia Molina. Wearing jersey number 8, Angelique Pauline Araneta. Number 11, Rosalind Doria. At number 18, Marivic Belaine Meneses. And at number 22, Maria Angelica Cayuna. Libero is number 14, Angelique Dionela. Head coach, Mr. Cecil Shaq de los Santos. Calling on our Army Black Mamba energy drink. Team captain wears jersey number 8, Sergeant Jovelyn Gonzaga. At number 2, Private Mary Ann Esguera. Wearing jersey number 4, Private Ivy Perez. At number 13, Miss Michelle Morente. Wearing jersey number 14, Private First Class Nerissa Bautista. And at number 21, Private Jeanette Villarreal. Libero is number 10, Sergeant Angela Luna. Head coach, Staff Sergeant Emilio Kung Fu Reyes Jr. This match is held under the supervision and regulation of the Games and Amusement Board.
The starting lineup of the Cignal HD Spikers. There is no change from the Open Conference to the starting lineup of the Invitational Conference for Coach Shaq de los Santos.
Definitely sticking to what has worked for them. And today we look forward to these improvements.
In the meantime, for the Army Mamba Lady Troopers, nice to see Jovelyn Gonzaga back. And you heard the crowd roar when she was introduced in the starting lineup.
Oh, definitely. I'm sure, just like us, we are very eager to see her back in the court.
Gonzaga did not play in the Open Conference, participated in the beach volleyball tournament. Leading up to the SEA Games, she trained in Australia and then took home the bronze medal in the recently concluded SEA Games. Good afternoon, everybody. Set number 1 just about to get underway in the Invitational Conference of the PVL. Villarreal denied right away, and the first point of the season goes to Cignal.
We expect very good defense at the net for the Cignal HD Spikers.
Well, again, Cignal undefeated in the preliminary round, 4-0 in the Open Conference. Meantime, Army did not win a game in the preliminary round as Morente knocks in the first attack point of Army. How do you see these two teams, I mean, in terms of style, and how do you see them contrasting in today's game?
Well, I think for one, both these teams have very experienced players. So yung diskarte yung aabangan natin, how they would react, how they would ensure na hindi lalayo yung kalaban. And, you know, we keep mentioning, you know, these are all veterans already, but leadership will definitely come into play for this match.
Best center for the Open Conference, Jen Cayuna with a 1-2 play.
Cayuna, very stellar performance in the 2022 Open Conference. Really one of the key people or the key players that led to that performance of Cignal. So quite eager actually to see you know, what she has in store for us today.
Here's Ivy Perez sending it to Villarreal. Gets it across. Cayuna sets it up. Says Molina, what a dig. But there is a whistle on the play. I think a net violation going to be called against Army.
That was almost actually a great save by Luna, if not for that violation or for that error.
Meneses, second best middle blocker in the Open Conference. Here's Morente. Great defensive play at the net by Cignal. Cross court by Gonzaga is good.
Gonzaga making things look very simple with that cross-court attack. Gonzaga spiking from the left side of the court. She is a lefty, so her angle will be quite different.
I'm sure Coach Kung Fu Reyes feeling much better with Gonzaga on the floor. He got Nene Bautista as well. I mean, really absolute veterans of the game.
It's nice to see how they're starting quite fast, but in a way also very poised and relaxed. So you don't see any tense movement so far.
3-all, set number 1. High toss there. And it's in! Mitch Morente!
That is a Morente second service ace. Targeting the end line on the court of the Cignal HD Spikers.
And she was able to get through Jack Jonella, one of the best liberos in the collegiate ranks.
Well, it seemed like it was on its way out, actually.
Cayuna, what a setup there! Astoria knocks it in.
That was great connection between Cayuna and Doria. If you look at the timing, the ball was perfectly fed to Doria, the reach, and we saw how the ball landed on the floor.
Out of the Pitan City FEU player, Jel Cayuna with a serve. Nunag with a receive. Here's Bautista through the double block. Underhand set there by Molina. Back row. That's really short for Rachel Andatis as we go back to Franny Reyes.
All right, Eric and Anne, I actually got to talk to Mitch Morente, and her motivation for today's game is being back on the court and playing with her teammates, but most of all, enjoying, and we saw that from her after her 2 service aces. Now, she gave me some insight into Cignal. They swept the elimination round in the last conference, so they know that Cignal will give their all. They're a smart and defensive team, so we can expect a good fight from Army Black Mamba. What do you guys think about that?
Thank you, Franny. Oh, definitely. I mean, right now, this early, Army showing us great playmaking on the floor. Like what you mentioned, and they are poised. They don't look rattled. Maybe it's because Gonzaga is there. So many veterans on the floor, like Bautista. They you know, are dealing with the blows from Cignal, and they're taking it on pretty well.
And I think one of the things that is an advantage now, most of these teams have seen each other play already in the 2022 Open Conference.
Right.
So they've done their homework, studying how they move, what worked well for their opponents. And I guess that's something that is an advantage also for the Army team right now.
There's a 1-2 play. Ivy Perez unable to cash in. Araneta. 1-2 play again for Perez, and she was denied at the net.
And that's something that we will expect from the Cignal HD Spikers. They will always ensure that they have blockers at the net.
Remember, they have the best 1-2 middle blockers in the Open Conference. That's Rose Doria and Riri Meneses. Nunag with a receive. Great attack, great setup by Perez this time to get Gonzaga involved defensively.
Gonzaga still very high in percentage when it comes to getting a point.
Reception has been an issue for the HD Spikers early in set number 1, Anne.
They have been trying to adjust their place.
Bautista knocks it outside, but she had the right idea. There was an opening there in zone 1. 7-all. It's a good start for both teams. Not that many unforced errors.
And they've managed to also keep the score very close, actually tied for most of the start of the set.
Meneses with the point. That takes us to our first technical timeout. Cignal HD Spikers up by 1-8-7 against Army. Eight-7, Cignal up by 1 versus Army. Opening set, opening game of the Invitational Conference of the Premier Volleyball League. Hi everybody, Eric Tipan with Andre Mullacanda and Franny Reyes with the call here. Gonzaga from the back row. Cayuna sets it up. Daki's single lady block by Ivy Perez. Lunag with the up. Perez sets it up. Here comes Morente against two blockers. She's turned back. Perez. Gonzaga with a push. What a dive by Janela. Meneses, what a rally here. Morente off the block, and Army ties the game at 8.
Both teams showing excellent defense and coverage.
That was an intense rally, to say the least. Take a look at the save by Janela.
You gotta give it to the defenders. They've been diving and really trying to keep the ball alive.
And it's a variety of offense from both teams as well. I mean, you saw a lot of attempts from different styles.
Right now, we don't see just one attacker getting most of the set. So that is very good balance that we're seeing from both setters.
That time around, coverage not ready after the Morente block. So Cignal inches ahead by 1, 9-8. This is quality volleyball we're seeing here in the opening set.
And this has been, this has been consistent from how we started up until now.
Goes to show you the preparation of these teams as well, right? I
And
mean,
you see the speed at which they move.
yeah. They didn't take this conference lightly. Dakis with the serve. Nunag with the up. Underhand set. Morente blocked again. Back-to-back rejection there by Cignal HD Spikers.
That was a double block from Meneses and Cayuna. Meneses really making sure that the trajectory of the ball was going down.
That serve is out. 1 point lead here for Cignal. There's Ayel Estrañero. Now in the lineup of Cignal HD Spikers, Estrañero from the University of St. LaSalle in high school, who was the best attacker in the Palarong Pambansa. We're looking at Ivy Perez now. Former Photon Tornadoes, also a former Petrogas Angel. Chance ball for Army. Gonzaga. Here comes Molina. Cross court is too strong, but there's a check ball. Fernando Velarde, the first referee, will want to consult first. Does not agree initially.
Check ball ba? Kanina. Check ball.
So after a careful consultation, apparently there's no check ball, no touch. So the point goes to HD. Oh, sorry. Tama, no?
There was a touch, I think, on the side of
Army.
Army, yeah.
So the point goes to Cignal. 11-9, a 2-point advantage. Over receive, easy put away for Doria.
Now this is the problem that we're seeing now from both teams. The first ball, earlier it was a challenge, or it was a struggle for Cignal, and this time around, that over-receive on the side of Army.
Morente down the line, that's wide. Got intimidated by the two blockers. She's been blocked twice by Cignal, and that's affected her decision-making up in the air. Now it's the biggest lead for Cignal at 4:39 timeout, Army.
Wala namang ginagawa yung kabila. Sige ang tapo natin ng bola. Ivy, ano mo, i-control mo yung galaw natin kasi hindi pa lumalabas kung ano yung ensayo natin. Ha? I-timing lang natin yung galaw ngayon. Baklay naman si Ivy, huwag nyo na isiksik yung bola. Ang importante natin sa setter's ball lang. Okay, isang balik ulit tayo. Michelle, masyadong malayo yung pa-check natin. Ha? O, sige, tara, bawi ulit. Pasa ulit. Huwag natin hintayin sila magkamali. Tara, bawi natin ha. Tayo ang bigyan ng puntos. Let's go.
Walang pili sa set out.
That huddle solely dedicated to, I think, just really break the momentum on the side of the Cignal HD Spikers, but also some reminders to slow things down on their side. Ano, yung kanilang first ball, where to give the ball so that Perez won't have a difficult time in setting up.
Meneses with a serve. First ball problems right now for Army. One-handed dig for Dakis. Meneses chasing after it. A chance ball for Army. Crowd is roaring. They love the determination of both teams as Morente scores. There's Papayo cheering on the team. Great idea, great play to put Morente in the middle.
And Morente also caught that space in between the two blockers.
Army chasing a 3-point deficit here. What a receive there by Janela and a kill by Doria.
Those quick plays definitely working for Cignal. Doria and Cayuna. Good connection between these two.
Got to credit Janela with the receive there. Really got it into the right in the space of Cayuna. She didn't have to move much, able to set up the middle and score. Back to a 4-point advantage for Cignal. Villarreal. And Araneta off the block.
This is the biggest lead that we've seen so far here in the first set.
(15 serving 10). That's going to be outside.
Too much power on that serve from Cayuna.
We'll have to check the stats, but unofficially, I believe Cignal has more service errors right now compared to Army. As you see, Riri Meneses, the number 2 best blocker. I know there's a lot of you are surprised because she played really well in that position in the Open Conference. But Doria got the nod for the first best middle blocker in the Open Conference. Another attack there, Araneta from the other side this time. That sends us to our second technical timeout. Still a 5-point lead for Cignal versus Army in the opening set. We're back at the Phil Oil Flying V Center on a Saturday afternoon in July 9 as we kick off the Invitational Conference of the Premier Volleyball League. Cignal HD Spikers right now with a 16-11 advantage over Army. We're just in the opening set. Ivy Perez Bautista, a quick attack. And she scores.
Bautista always making it look easy.
Gonzaga serving now.
Dakis gets that ball through. Secures a 5-point lead again for Cignal HD.
A substitution here for Army as Sunny Royce Tubino and Jane Gonzalez will check in. Tubino initially was not going to be part of the team, but just within the last week, there was news that she was going to be part of Army. So obviously, much better news for Coach Kung Fu Reyes. You've got Tubino, you've got Gonzaga.
These are welcome additions to the lineup. But at this point, the work that has to be done on the side of Army is to get more points in.
Here's Tubino, that's into the net. Didn't get a touch from the other players. So Army getting buried now under a 6-point deficit.
What has worked for Cignal HD was they were very efficient when it comes to their net defense as well as very good placements of their offense.
Another underhand set. Bautista off the double block. Yes.
That's exactly what they need at this point. Very strong blockers on the side of Cignal. Bautista for that serve.
Back row attack. Molina right on the line.
And this is what we are talking about, how efficient the attacks or the offense of the Cignal HD Spikers has been, at least in this set. They have managed to catch those open spots on the court of the Army Lady Troopers.
Cignal now up by 6. As Coach Reyes shuffling his players around, trying to find the right combination here. Jem Gutierrez is in for the first time, and Jeanette Villarreal is back in. Gutierrez, formerly from UST. Dakis off the block, yes.
Dakis has been really using the blockers to score the points.
And you like how the Cignal HD Spikers are responding here. No Coach Shaq de los Santos today, so assistant coach Kirk Biliran is calling the shots for the team. But so far, they're playing up to par and up to expectations.
Oh, Cayuna!
Wow. An open block for Cayuna. She almost missed it, but thankfully, she did not. And it's a 7-point advantage now for Cignal. Second timeout for Coach Kung Fu Reyes. Take another look here. Mamba found herself too open.
Nasaan yung bola? Ngayon, tumataas sa ibabaw ng net. Walang nagre-react sa atin, naghihintay tayo sa ilalim. Sinong kukuha niyan sa ibabaw? Ikaw ang pinakamalapit, ikaw kumuha. Ikaw ang gitna. So, isang pasa na maayos. Ang mawawala is yung depensa natin, ang gulo ng defense pattern natin. Iniiba niyo pagdating dito sa kabila. Parang lang din ang court natin yan eh.
Sige,
Diba?
sige.
We've talked about that. Their defense has been missing, ano? And then that's why, hindi naman piyesta, pero ang dami talagang naipuntos ng Cignal HD, really catching those open areas. And to this point, we haven't seen any adjustment yet, no, on the defensive position of the Army team. Now, we'll see how they will respond this time, going into this play.
Well, as another service error, this is the only thing that, that's helping out Army right now is these errors by Cignal. But what about, you mentioned errors on the part of Army. Sorry, their defense that's been lacking. Well, what about Cignal? What have they done better? Allowed them to take this 6-point advantage.
Well, I think for Cignal, they went, well, it's always about the basics. They had better passing. Earlier, there were a bit of issues, right? Hindi diretso sa setter. Kayuna had to chase after the ball. But now, we have seen them adjust, so they're better placed. Even their net defense or their blocking has been very consistent as well. So that has worked for them here in the first set.
Army finding themselves in trouble here in the opening set after a tight first half.
One of the things that Coach Kung Fu also mentioned earlier, no, marami dun sa mga bola, hindi inaabot sa net. They're waiting for it sa baba. And that is something that's also an adjustment, no, that we're looking to see on the side of Army.
Molina. Nunag was right there. Underhand set. Gonzaga, her third attempt in this rally, and finally she knocks it in.
That's what we have been waiting for.
These highlights from Army have been few and far between since the first part of the opening set.
Well, it was a very good start. They just they just weren't able to sustain it.
They had a few aces from Morente early on in the opening set, but that's a service error. So right now it's just a matter of time before Cignal wins the first set. There's Coach Shaq. I'll make that Coach Kung Fu Reyes, no Coach Shaq today. Perez signaling the play. Good receive. Gonzaga, cross court, that is wide.
She had the right intention. There was no defense on that angle, but it was too long.
This is 8 set points for Cignal. Who knew they were going to win this big after that really exciting start for both teams? Great serve again by Cayuna. Gonzaga rejected. Gonzaga will try again. Janela diving for it. Araneta with a tip. Gonzaga saving it. Bautista keeping it alive, and a chance ball for Cignal. Molina with a left hand, unable to get it across.
Army still holding on, hanging on to the set point.
Esguerra will check in. 7 set points for Cignal. Molina for the finish, not just yet. Morente picks it up. Perez will send it to Gonzaga. Cayuna, back to Molina, cut shot. Bautista has been saving a couple of balls the last few minutes for Army. Molina again, and finally connects and finishes set number 1 in favor of Cignal.
Very aggressive offense on the side of Cignal HD Spikers.
Set number 1 in the books. Cignal winning it 25-17 over Army. Cignal 25, Army 17 in the opening set. The score, the final score, does not really reflect the kind of action we saw, especially in the first part of the first set, Anne.
It was a very close start for both these teams, but you know, Cignal really managed to pull away, mainly because they were able to adjust midway. We saw how they've improved when it comes to passing, and definitely all of their attackers really delivered. Cayuna did very well in balancing and distributing the plays, but unfortunately, the Army Lady Troopers were not able to adjust and respond.
You mentioned towards the tail end of set number one, the defense of Army failed them, which is obviously ironic. Army defense, but let's see if they can step it up here. Their offense as well. Somehow the level of offense came down a little bit in the second part of set number one, as Molina starts off the way she closed set number one with an attack point here.
You see Coach Kung Fu on the side, just reminding the girls, no, tighter blocking. First line of defense is at the net.
But the service woes of Cignal continue, and if they are unable to correct that, obviously that's a good point. If you're Army, you're getting some free points from the opponent.
However, you cannot just rely on these free points. What we need to see is that adjustment on the side of the Lady Troopers, starting with their defense.
What a save by Tin Agnos in the game for the first time, by the way, for Army. And there's Jovelyn Gonzaga with the point. Army leads 2-1 in the second set.
It is important to start strong, but what matters even more is how they will be able to maintain the same momentum. We've seen this in set number one. Hopeful, I'm sure that the Army fans are hoping for a more consistent performance here in the second set.
Cés Molina getting a chunk of the offense of Cignal here in set number two. Been getting a lot of touches from Jel Cayuna. Tied at 2. Second set. Got a good first ball from Bautista. Here's Morente through the double block. Cayuna. Araneta was rejected by Morente. Here's Molina. Very high tip. Easy pickup for Army. Morente again. Datis has been receiving pretty well. There's Doria knocking it in. And the way Jel Cayuna has gotten her middles involved, we saw Meneses very active in Doria in the first set. And they have touches again here today. At least Doria has early in set number two.
And what's nice is that you see these adjustments. Ano? So it was a quick set. Cayuna wasn't in the middle. Doria also adjusted a little bit to near Cayuna.
Gonzaga will score again, but that's something we don't see from Army. Not a lot of middle attacks from Ivy Perez so far.
Because they haven't had a good pass also so far. So it has been always an adjustment for the second ball for Army right now.
Esguerra, part of the starting lineup, will serve. That's going to be way long as we check in with Franny Reyes.
Thanks, Eric. And we are seeing very efficient volleyball on Cignal's side of the court. Rachel Andakis actually told me that, you know, off-season practice wasn't really about spectacular plays or working on those things, but really working on the basics. And she also told me that they studied Army really, really well. That's why they're able to find those open spots, those cracks in their defense. On Army's end, you're right. Sabi nga ni Coach Kung Fu kanina, pasa-pasa lang. And they need to work on their defense because they can't afford any more errors against this efficient Cignal team.
Well, thank you, Franny. That's, you know, spot on as what Anne was saying. The defense of Army really let them down in the latter part of the opening set. Let's see if they can keep it, sustain that here in set number two. Morente rejected again. Boy, this tall lineup in front with Doria. You've got Araneta. Sometimes Meneses is there. Really tough to penetrate. Obviously going to cause problems for Army.
Sometimes it would feel like you're hitting the ball straight into a wall. But you know, Franny mentioned how Cignal has studied itong laro ng Army, and I think that's one big advantage for all of the teams now. Napag-aralan, nakita na kung paano maglaro in that 2022 Open Conference. So they've done their homework, they've made adjustments, and clearly it has worked for Cignal in the first set.
Villarreal on a running attack earlier. Let's see if they can come up with plays like that a little bit more. Something not so familiar. Janela with the up. Chance ball for Army. Let's see what Perez will do. It goes back to Villarreal on the running attack. Cayuna picks it up. Back row, Molina. There's a back row attack on the other side. That's way short for Morente. Not to worry, says Morente. They're only down by 1. 6-5. Coach Kung Fu Reyes on your screens. Here's Jeanette Villarreal, former FAU player, now Angeli Araneta, formerly from UP. Back-to-back errors now.
Positional fault is called on Army. Morente and Gonzaga switching places now. So
it's now a 2-point deficit for Army. Good receive from Gonzaga. Here comes Bautista through the double block. Underhand set. Meneses is rejected. She gets a taste of her own medicine. Villarreal with a rejection, and Army is within 1.
Finally, the net defense coming into play here.
And substitution here as Anis Guerra will step out, and Balse Pabayo will check in for the first time.
Pabayo, of course, we already a veteran. We know her. Is a very efficient player, great blocker.
Bronze medalist in the 2005 Southeast Asian Games and a UAAP champion in season 69. Cayuna, back set. Gonzaga, here comes Bautista. Bautista will score. It wasn't pretty, but Army still got the point, and they tie the game at 7.
They will take that point anyways. Coming from that dig, look at that. Going straight into the net for Cignal, unable to save it.
Oh, bad serve from Villarreal. Step forward and take 2 steps back. Army, as they send us to our first technical timeout. Down by 1, 8-7 against Cignal, set number 2. Back here at the Phil Oil Flying V Center for opening day of the Invitational Conference of the PVL. There's our first Vice President and Head for Channels and Content Management, Sienna Olaso. Welcome, ma'am. Good afternoon, and welcome to the fans as well, here and watching us on TV as Bautista ties the game at 8. You love the determination. I mean, you obviously see these players, they're more mature, they're more seasoned. They're not as athletic as they were before, but they still find ways to score and be a major contributor to their team.
And here you see the adjustments. So for Bautista, yung kanyang adjustment, really reading the formation of Cignal. So it doesn't have to be a hard spike all the time. That is the advantage of the experience that these players have.
right now, though, these unforced errors on the part of Army hurting them. Service error earlier. And Cignal is back up by 1. Underhand set there for Perez. There's a tip by Gonzaga. Good save by Cignal. Here comes Army again. Gonzaga. Back-to-back touches for Jovelyn Gonzaga. Molina, yes!
There was multiple attempts on the side of Army to drop the ball in the middle, but Cignal was quick to adjust and read those returns.
And these Cignal HD Spikers, they're tall, they're long, they're athletic. They're very mobile, these players. Good decision there by Nunag to let it go. Service error on the part of Cignal. Both teams giving away some free points here. That's why we have a tight game. 9 serving 10. Here's Nene Bautista. Great fake by Doria, but Molina was blocked. Molina will try again. Morente picks it up. Perez. Gonzaga. Yes!
That was a great hit from Gonzaga.
Dakis is right there, but the ball was coming in too fast. Bautista, her second serve. Poor receive there by Dakis. Chance ball for Army. Agno with the pass. Perez to Balse. Molina. Bautista picking it up. Morente. Oh, yes! And Army, they retake the lead. They were up 2-1 early in set number 2. But right now, they're back up 11-10.
Wing Spikers, both Gonzaga and Morente delivering the points. What we haven't seen from the Army Lady Troopers would be quicker, lower plays. Actually, most of the sets right now are for the Wing Spikers.
Morente with a block on Molina. Back row attack by Dakis. Agno will set it up. Difficult angle there for Gonzaga.
That was difficult even for this veteran.
So that's 11 all. Off the attack error by Gonzaga. Obviously the president of Sports Vision, Ricky Palou, on your screens. Again, early congratulations to Sir Ricky Palou and tournament director Tony Liao. Already we can tell how excellent this invitational conference is going to be. Just by the feedback from the crowd at the venue. The first game, we're almost full to the rafters. Doria! Yes!
Very nice explosive hit from Doria. She has been consistent, you know, getting those quick plays.
Early timeout here for Coach Kung Fu Reyes. He's only down by 1, but he wants to talk things over.
Is yung pinaka-basic. May nagsalita, ako, iba naman ang kukuha. Yung basic na dadalhin sa spiker yung bola, lumalagpas sa poste. So wala namang dapat pagkamali sa ganun ba?
Ani, no observe. Ani, lahat ng pwede natin i-convert na points, hindi natin ako-convert.
Masama pa, napupunta pa sa kabila
Oo, napupunta talaga sa kanila.
Diba?
So,
Bakit?
stop natin yung ulit-ulit dyan.
Ulitin natin kung paano tayo mag-ensayo. Yun lang yung gawin natin. Kasi andun na yung masterpiece natin. Ngayon, iniiban nyo dito. Magkakaroon tayo ng problema.
Well, Coach Kung Fu Reyes doesn't want it to get any worse. He again mentioned the errors for Army here and in the second set.
And he also wants to stick to the plan because maybe, you know, this is not what they had practiced. But if you look at the frontliners of Cignal HD, just looking at them, you know that they will give the Army Lady Troopers a lot of problems.
Definitely. I mean, they're tall, they're very mobile as Morente knocks it off the double block. But you see the movement of the front line of Cignal. And yeah, I'm sure even the fans will agree with you. See how in sync they are defensively. The game is tied at 12. There's Mary Jean Papayo. Araneta through the block. Morente blocked again, and this is what we were just mentioning.
It has become predictable for the blockers of Cignal because most of the sets of Perez really just going to the outside hitter or the opposite spiker.
lead back with Cignal, 13-12. Ces Molina. That's an overpass and an overreach on the part of Ivy Perez. Errors again for Army. That's where we fall back to, as Coach Kung Fu Reyes trying to check with our first referee Fernando Velarde if there's an overreach on the part of Rachel Andakis. But the call will not be overturned. 2-point advantage for Cignal, 14-12. Gonzaga. Here's Jel Cayuna. What a tough angle for Araneta. That was almost on the line, but it's just wide. So a lucky break here for Army. Angeli Araneta got her big break when Grace Bombita got injured in the warm-up prior to their first game in the Open Conference.
A very unfortunate injury.
That's going to be way out. I mean, you can tell from the sound of the impact, hand to ball, it was too strong.
It also lacked a bit of spin, no? So hindi talaga bababa yung bola.
So Cignal with there are a couple of errors here to tie the game at 14. Cayuna, low set for Doria. Morente against two blockers, and again, Morente has had trouble with the double block of Cignal.
She has not been able to penetrate the way she has done so in the first set. Nakita natin kanina nakakapalusot ng bola, but this time around, I think talagang nabantayan na. Interesting to see what adjustments Perez will make with their plays.
Tennis wide for Roslyn Doria. The best first middle blocker in the Open Conference.
She's been playing a good game also today.
Unofficially, Doria with 9 points. Another high toss on the jump serve for Morente. Over received and an easy put away for Nene Bautista. Also another player who missed the Open Conference because she was part of the beach volleyball team that participated in the SEA Games. 16-15, Army takes us to our technical timeout here in set number 2. Back inside the Philoil Flying V Center. Riri Meneses, Jack Junella, you saw on your screens. Rachel Andakis. Cignal HD Spikers down by 1 here. 16-15 to Army. Dakis with the attack, the tip. Bautista. Meneses tipping it over. Villarreal and Bautista sends it across. Cayuna sets it up again. This time, Dakis. What anticipation by Morente. Double contact is called against Ivy Perez. Jovelyn Gonzaga, team captain of Army, trying to plead their case. So is Coach Kung Fu Reyes. But Fernando Velarde is saying
It's a double. Yeah,
Double.
called a double.
errors there. 16 all. Araneta. Over receive. But the joust won there by Perez. Perez to Bautista, rejected. And Cignal will score 2 straight points and take the lead 17-16. Coach Kung Fu is upset about something again. And Gonzaga talking to our first referee, Fernando Velarde.
Coach Kung Fu still has not rested his case. Clearly unhappy with that call earlier.
1 point game. The service just out for Araneta, so the game is tied. I guess sort of poetic justice on the part of Army. They get the point back, whatever it is they're complaining about. Coach Kung Fu trying to cheer the team on, motivate them. It's a tight end to set number 2. Far cry from how we were in the first set. There's a tip. Ball kept alive by Perez. Bautista attacking. Cayuna, 1-2 play. Balse. And there's Bautista with the point. Army back on top by 1, 18-17.
Presence of mind from Bautista.
This is a formidable front line as well. If you look at Army, you've got Balse, you've got Bautista. Gonzaga can come in as well. There's Ivy Perez, a very tall setter.
Definitely height and experience is a very good combination.
Jeanette Villarreal, former Lady Tamarao. A former Perla Spiker as well. Meneses, one-handed dig for Gonzaga. Bautista with a soft touch. That's experience right there for you.
And it's not the first time that she's done that. We've seen her adjust. We've seen her look at her target, the open areas on the side of Cignal. You know, that's also an advantage. She's a beach volleyball player, and these are the adjustments that they tend to make, you know, when they play.
It's paying off. This is a 2-point advantage now for Army. 19-17, a chance to even up this match. Poor first ball for Cesc Molina, and it's a 3-point lead. Timeout? Yes, it's going to be called by acting head coach Kurt Biliran of Cignal HD Spikers. No Coach Shaq de los Santos today. We'll listen in.
Manalo yan. Isa-isa lang muna.
Kaya pa yan, uy. Tatlo
Kaya
lang
pa
yan.
yan. Basta tsagain muna natin yung pasa natin. Ha? Tapos pag nasa tayo ng maganda, natali tayo maganda. Ha? Tapos diskarte lang. Ha? Okay, tuloy lang. Tuloy lang. Tuloy lang.
Malayo pa!
Tuloy lang ha.
Kaya, let's go,
Galaw lang ng ayos.
Very, very simple reminders. Nag-umpisa sa pasa, no? And that has been a problem, no, for Cignal. I think there's very high confidence as to what they can deliver pagdating sa opensa, but it all has to start with a good first ball.
There's Balse on your screens coming off the bench today for Army. And her leadership, her experience really playing a major role in this comeback in set number 2. Jerry Lee Malabanan is in the game for the first time for Cignal. Gonzaga. Yes! Javelin Gonzaga makes it a 4-point lead for Army.
The veterans of the Army team delivering right now is Bautista, Gonzaga, both scoring the points.
21 serving 17. Jack Jonella picking it up. Back row, Molina. Morente with a great dig. Balse! Malabanan. Through the double block. And there's a net violation against Balse as well. So that run stops at 4 points for Army. Malabanan, a biology major in FEU. Former Valley Pure, former PLDT high-speed hitter, former Petrogas Angel as well. So she's been around the Premier Volleyball League. Janela off her chest. Molina, great save by Bautista. Bautista will attack, and she just lacked a few more steps back in order to get a good attack. So 2 straight points for acting head coach Kurt Biliran and the Cignal HD Spikers.
You know, it was a good call to have that timeout earlier, just to break the momentum, let the girls breathe a little bit.
A 4-point lead of Army is cut in half now. Balse with The tip, and she scores.
It is that middle spot that has been left vacant.
She doesn't have the kind of lift, obviously, that she did back in college, but the timing is still there. And that's the most important part when you're playing middle blocker, middle attacker. Back to a 3-point advantage for Army. Ivy Perez. Cayuna to Molina. Perez says she sends it to Gonzaga for the point.
And this is when and where you see these veterans stepping up.
Amazing bounce back here by Army. 2 points away from tying the matchup at 1 set all. 23 serving 19. Another good serve by Perez. Here comes Molina. Blocked by Balse. Molina, standing spike. Bautista, look at her go down for that. Balse is blocked. No, it's
Not over.
Yep, 4 touches against Balse. There's acting head coach Kirk Biliran sitting in for Coach Shaq de los Santos. Molina and the Cignal HD Spikers down by 3 here. 20 serving 23. Good receive. Gonzaga from the middle. Outside.
No check. According to our first referee.
Perez wanted it so much. There's Fernando Velarde, our first referee. Our second referee is Joy de Imus. 2-point game. Cignal needs 2, and so does Army. Bautista with the tip. Meneses was right there. Perez will set it up for Bautista. Off the block, and it is going to be 3 set points for Army. 24-21.
Bautista, so efficient.
Yeah. And you see the attack of Bautista here. She made sure it goes off the tips of the blockers.
Pamuhin mo lang sa ha?
Bawi lang, malayo
Block
pa yan.
natin. Ha? Ginugulangan lang tayo, pinapacheck. Tapos yung depensa natin dito, nakastack lang dito. Dapat naka-rin, hindi pa rin dito. Ha? Okay, tuloy lang yung depensa natin. Let's go! Ha?
Let's go! Dahan.
Dahan-dahan, yun yung pinag-uusapan nila now. They actually can take it 1 step at a time. They cannot commit any errors at this point.
And Army obviously should take advantage of that. Nene Bautista serving. And these veterans, Gonzaga, Balse, have taken over. And now we see another veteran, Joan Nunag on the floor.
Joan Bunag, also a former FEU player.
Molina. They go to Bunag for the finish. Her first touch. And she delivers. Joan Bunag, a former Iliga City Navy Oragon and a former PLDT high-speed hitter. Connects there off the block of Cayuna. And we're tied at 1 set all. Army winning set number 2 over Cignal. 25-21. We're tied at 1-all. Cignal taking set number 1 and Army taking set number 2. Let's take a look at the highlights. It was a tight game all throughout compared to the first set. And there were times when Cignal took control, but it didn't take long before Army bounced back.
And we saw some players, specific players, really step up on the side of Army. They've been very consistent about Bautista, Gonzaga, even Valse has been a threat at the net. And I think that really helped in terms of them winning that second set.
And you can tell how Coach Kung Fu Reyes liked the way they played in set number 2, that Valse is in the starting lineup in set number 3.
They've adjusted when it comes to their first ball.
Yep. Araneta with a push. What a save there by Gonzaga. Cayuna. Meneses with a two-hander.
Well, Army has been scoring from that middle spot. Meneses trying that and succeeding that time.
The crowd continue to pour inside the Philoil Flying V Center. This is just the first game of our opening day doubleheader. You've got Sherry taking on Choco Mucho in her second game today. Bautista with her own version of a two-handed tip. Cayuna, Meneses, Morente was right there. 1-2 play. And Molina, great anticipation on that tip by Perez. Cignal off to a good start here in set number 3. Coach Kung Fu Reyes having a little chat with Ivy Perez as Dakis prepares to serve. 2-0, set number 3.
What we missed from Cignal in the latter part of that second set was their quick plays. Doria has been very effective on that. Meneses as well went missing.
A double contact. 4 touches going to be called against Cignal off that Nene Bautista attack. And Tin Agno getting some playing time in the libero position for Army here in third set. She came onto the floor in the second set. Good pass. Cayuna, the back set. Meneses has got several touches here for Cignal. Another one. Great block by Palse on Meneses. Gonzaga. Great anticipation by Araneta. Chance ball for Army. Gonzaga. Yes! Javelin Gonzaga ties the game at 2.
It's also nice to see quicker plays being executed on the side of Army.
Let's go to Franny Reyes.
You're right, Anne. It's the veterans of Army Black Mamba that are setting the tone for the way that they're playing now. We're seeing Gonzaga, Balse, and like you mentioned, Bautista really providing the much-needed coverage that they lacked during the first set. Sabi nga ni Jovi kanina, kami bahala sa'yo, kayo bahala sa harapan. So really urging her team to just play and trust each other. Now, Jovi told me earlier before the game started that they're manifesting a win and they'll take it 1 game, 1 set, 1 point at a time. So let's see them apply that mindset for this set and improving on the errors that they have that Coach Kung Fu was adamant about them avoiding again.
All right, thank you, Franny. Love that that manifesting term, right? They want to manifest the win. Let's see if they can make it a reality as Balse ties the game at 3.
I like that point where, you know, Franny mentioned knowing their roles. Ano, ikaw bahala sa harap, akong bahala sa likod. And I think that really worked for them. They were able to address their issues on defense. And in front, they were definitely a threat, no?
Cayuna. Block again. Balse really taking over the middle blocker position in this match.
And Balse, of course, known as one of, you know, the best middle blockers, especially during her time. And now she's showing us.
Right now, outplaying Doria, outplaying Meneses on the floor. That serve is going to be long for Bautista. Coach Kung Fu is switching between Nunag and Agno right now for libero duties for Army.
You know, we're just right at the beginning of the conference, but we know how important, as we look at that hit from Doria, we know how important all of the games are for these teams. They don't have that luxury no, na may second round. Ngayon, single round siya, and so they need to make sure to get as much wins as they can and get those quality games
Right.
in.
And there are no pools here today. They're all 7 teams going at it against each other one at a time. Gonzaga with the tip. A little late, the call, but it was there nevertheless.
Coach Kung Fu on the side, really calling out that violation. Gonzaga,
He called it first. Gonzaga and Coach Kung Fu called it first before our first referee, and that's what Fernando Velarde talked to Jovelyn Gonzaga about. Gotta wait for me to make the call. Way short the serve by Balse. There's a bit of a love-hate relationship between Coach Kung Fu and Fernando Velarde right now.
There have been a number of calls that they don't agree with.
Good serve by Molina. Here's Morente. Through the double block, finally. I mean, she gets a break.
She has been challenged a lot, no, in terms of like penetrating the blockers. First set, it worked.
Yep.
Second set, talagang bantay sarado na siya, and it's good to finally score that point, that clean point.
Definitely good for the team, good for her morale as well. Poor first ball there. Chance ball here for Army. Let's see what they do. 1-2 play, that's gonna be on the line for Ivy Perez.
Oh, look at that reaction. It seemed like it was on its way out. It was quite long.
Si Coach Kung Fu napaupo, parang
Konting-konti na lang.
konti lang eh. So Army inches ahead by 1, 7-6. Good serve. That's gonna be long though. It's Army's turn, Anna, no, to give away these points off the service errors.
The tables have turned.
There's Honey Royce Tubino. Yeah, Tubino's in the lineup, folks, in case you haven't been up to date with the news. Initially, she wasn't, but she's back on the team, and she has seen limited minutes so far. Villarreal on the running attack. Takis winds up. Great save by Nunag. Gonzaga off speed. Meneses. And save is no good. Meneses will score. And Cignal takes us to our first technical timeout, 8-7. They lead by 1 over Army in the third set. Let's go to our Twitter question of the day. Which Lady Trooper HD Spiker are you most excited to watch again? You use the hashtag PVL Invitational 2022. Here are a couple of answers from you guys. From Master, we lost it, but we'll try to get it back. There it is, Master Vic Doncic. I'm excited to watch the returning Lady Trooper, Jovelyn Gonzaga, and so are we. Jovelyn is one of the OG opposites of Philippine volleyball. She can do it both offense and defense. Siguradong babangon muli ang Army Lady Trooper sa kanyang pagbabalik. That's exactly what they're doing.
From L, I missed seeing Gonzaki's play in one quarter. Yan, 2-in-1 for both Cignal and Army. Gonzaki's.
8-all, set number 3. Morente has had some luck with that jump serve. Combination play. Takis. And Ivy Perez, second straight 1-2 play that's been successful.
She's more confident now in doing that. Again, one of the advantages of being a lefty setter, you get the best position actually to hit the ball from the net.
Army should be ahead. There they go. 9-8 over Cignal, set number 3.
Morente hasn't had luck with her serves.
She did have a couple of aces in the first set on that jump serve. 9-all. Third set. 1 set all between Cignal and Army. Our first game today. We have Cherry and Choco Mucho coming up. Second game today. Nene Bautista babied that a little bit.
Didn't have enough power to just get it over.
So Cignal inches ahead. Again, the errors on the part of Army. Service error, attack error. And Cignal is ahead. Over received there by Morente. Meneses. Nunag picks it up. Bautista this time attacks and scores.
Magandang bawi for Bautista from that previous drop ball error, scoring that point.
Player from the University of San Agustin, Nene Bautista, ties the game at 10. Takis. Gonzaga unable to keep it alive. You see Gonzaga there sacrificing her body, diving for the ball, unable to get a good second ball, and Cignal up by 1, 11-10. Bautista. Here's Molina, that is just on the line.
Molina targeting the end line.
Molina, the first best outside spiker for the Open Conference, also the number 3 best scorer and number 4 spiker. So really a prolific attacker. Barce, that's outside. These errors and of Arby, that's what's been hurting them.
And it's paisa-isa, no? Nakikita natin siya ngayon. Let us see if any adjustments would be made. They first need to do a good pass.
Timeout by Coach Kung Fu Reyes. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hindi sumasabay sa yung si Ses. Iniiwanan ka lang niya. Nagja-jump shot ka, ikaw lang mag-isa doon. Pero ibig sabihin mataas yung bola eh.
Hindi nalalayo yan ha, hindi nalalayo.
Nakaw ka ng puntos kasi nakamarkado na yung spiker natin dito. Sa'yo pa lang, di ba? Kailangan mo ng pumuntos. Naintindihan mo? Ha? Buha ka. Pero tingnan mo, mamaya bigla ka naman sabayan. Sabayan lang, ging ha. O sayang. Sayang yung mga error natin ha. Sayang.
Hey, Arby! Papasa ka na yan, papasa ka na.
Coach Kung Fu also wants to utilize Perez. So she has the height. She has scored twice already with her offense. Let's see if she can take advantage of that.
Crowd shot inside the Philoil Flying V Center. Very few empty seats here today as we open up the Invitational Conference of the Premier Volleyball League. Excellent first game between Cignal and Army. 1 set each, Cignal leading by 3 here in the third set. Another over receive. Perez, though, able to tip it. Molina. Great save by Morente. Free ball given up by Army. Janela to Cayuna to Molina. Almost a great save for Perez. And she couldn't get it across the net.
Cignal making use of speed and power. most of the returns, makikita mo, ang bilis ng balik ng bola.
Great combination plays as well to deceive the blockers. 4-point lead for Cignal. Meneses. And they've been targeting that back row of Army, and Army so far unable to find a solution.
Both corners have been left open on the side of Army. Right, you see how Cignal is trying to keep things simple at this moment. They just really know their target.
This is a 5-0 run by Cignal.
Defensive adjustments as well as receiving adjustments need to be done on the side of Army. And that's what Coach Kung Fu was telling Perez earlier. Kung walang sumabay sa'yo, pwede mong paluin. Pero kung sumabay, huwag mo nang gawin. Nagkataon, sinabayan ka.
Says Molina with the block, and it's 16-10. Cignal over Army, set number 3. It's a 6-point lead now for Rachel Andakis and the rest of the Cignal HD Spikers. The biggest lead for the red shirts in the match. Sorry, in the set. As Bautista finally stops the bleeding for Army.
Bautista has mastered the art of utilizing the opponent's blockers to score the points. She's done that a lot in this match, but Army needs 5 points to at least tie it with Cignal.
So far, Bautista leading the way for Army with 11 points. Molina making it look very easy. It's Molina, that's going to be point number 10. She's in double digits along with Jonella Doria with 10 as well. Back to a 6-point advantage for Cignal. What's been missing for Army, Anne, in the last few plays?
I think for one, they haven't been able to set up really good plays because they've struggled with defense. First is keeping the ball alive, actually.
But there you go, Bautista with an answer. She's been the lone bright spot here in the third set for Army.
And contrary to what we've seen in the previous set, where there was a better balance, I guess, in terms of distribution, this time around, kita natin, no, na the weight is very heavy on Bautista.
Morente, block. Morente has really been checked by the defense here of Cignal, tipped by Barce. Oh, Cayuna Doria unable to connect.
That is actually the first time that we've seen that miscommunication or mistimed delivery. Look at that. Set was too high. Doria was already on her way down.
So it's a 4-point game. Still a considerable deficit. What a cut shot, but Morente at the right place at the right time. Gonzaga pounding that in, but the rally is still alive. Back row attack. Yes! Rachel Andakis with a kill.
That hit too strong for the defense of Army to handle. Look at that hit from Dakis.
And she is fired up. We talked about it in the open, how passionate she is. And she wears her emotions on her sleeve. I mean, you can easily tell. what she's feeling, Rachel Andakis, every time she's on the floor. That is into the net for Cayuna.
But they still have a 4-point lead. And you saw the reaction of Dakis also no, after that error from Cayuna. Okay lang. Kaya lang yan. Okay lang yan. It's good not to pressure yourself or your teammates as well.
Serve barely made it across for Balse. Difficult set there for Ivy Perez. Morente knocks it across the net. Here's Araneta. That's into the net. So a couple of errors here for Cignal, and it's a 3-point game.
Araneta was under the ball.
And a timeout here by Kirk Biliran, the acting head coach today. No Coach Shaq De Los Santos for Cignal. We'll listen in.
Sakto dito sa center natin. Medyo short siya. Tapos Jen, si Morente yung blockers dito. Sisisimulan natin. Timing mo lang yung set. Okay, tsaga lang sa pasa natin. Pasa.
Let's go, let's go.
Okay.
Service receive, service receive. Aray ko.
Saga sa receive, of course, it all starts there, but also very specific to Cayuna. No? Importanteng mag-connect sa kanyang mga attackers. Right timing, right height for the set as we look at Gonzaga.
So far, 10 points for Jovelyn Gonzaga. Balse off the bench. Good serve this time. Cayuna, difficult set. And that is fired in by Ces Molina.
Molina, that was a very explosive attack. Look at that approach. All the way to the follow-through of her hand no, after hitting the ball. So powerful.
Back to a 4-point lead for Cignal. 19 serving 15. Set number 3. Good receive, good pass. Gonzaga with the tip. Dakis punches it up in the air. Here's Dakis. Nowhere to go, but off the block and outside point for Cignal. This is getting away from Army. Coach Kung Fu Reyes will talk things over.
Nakalak na dun sa pinatama lang ni Buda yung bola sa kanya para ilagay niyo sa loob ng court. Kanina ba ginagawa sa inyo? Ang ganda ng block natin, ang ganda ng penetrate. Ang taas ang problema. Sige ang tapo natin sa labas. Last time out na yan. Down by 5 tayo. Unti-unti natin yan. Dapat bago mag-23 yan, nakadikit na tayo dyan. Ayun ang kailangan natin gawin dyan. Kung medyo mag-21 all tayo, mas maganda. O kahit sa 23 na lang, ha?
Very specific instructions no, from Coach Kung Fu. Dahil tama hindi mo pwedeng palayuin ang Cignal. They need at least 5 points to tie it with Cignal. And actually, now looking back, actually, Rachel Andakis has been playing with Army for the longest time. She's very familiar with how Army plays. That was once her team, of course.
There's a tip by Gonzaga. Back row by Molina. Single lady block by Villarreal. Villarreal with a dump. Rally still alive. Dakis. Morente with the up. And Gonzaga cross court. Molina picks it up. Doria. What a rally. And the block by Doria on Gonzaga. As Coach Kung Fu Reyes complaining about a lift perhaps from one of the Cignal players.
There was a low set for Doria, and Coach Kung Fu was signaling lifting on that one.
And again, Coach Kung Fu Reyes angry at Velarte. Velarte will yellow card Coach Kung Fu Reyes now. This has been going on since first set.
And we've seen how unhappy Coach Kung Fu has been with some of the calls.
And now, second referee, Joy De Imus, just spoke to the technical committee.
This is very crucial. And we see how why Coach Kung Fu is very passionate. He was clear that they cannot let Cignal reach 23, and that call could have been, you know, for them already.
Babawi si Gonzaga. She scores off the block. And Coach Kung Furea still not done. Continues to chat away here. Speak to Velarde. Cayuna sets it up. Araneta, what a dig by Gonzaga. Morente against the double block. Back row, Molina. Morente, double block again. Cayuna with the up. Janela sets it. Araneta, cross court. Perez back to Morente. There's coverage. Agno was right there.
Oh!
There's an attack by Perez. It's outside though.
Would have been a good option actually for Army. But you know, in that series, Gonzaga has shown excellent defense. Malayo yung binagsakan ng bola for Perez.
What's the right idea?
And Perez was given the go signal, of Coach Kung Fu. Na kung nasa tamang pwesto ka, if the opportunity, timing is right, then do it. Yun lang. Lumabas ang kanyang palo.
You see, we'll try again. Perez. Really undaunted. Will attack and score this time for Army. (17-22). Still a 5-point deficit for Army. Good serve. Good pass from Molina though. There's a punch from Gonzaga. Araneta is blocked. Molina with the pass. Meneses. Agno is right there. Bautista off the block. Dakis winds up. Yes!
Again, challenging the defense of Army. Ito, patibayan ng depensa, especially in rallies like these. And you see that the ball landing in between the two defenders.
And this is the point of no return for Army. 23-21. We're seeing Clarissa Abriam in the game for the first time for Cignal. Formerly from College of St. Benilde. And she turned pro with this team. She declined her final year with CSB and turned pro. Ayala Estraniero also seeing action for the first time. Bautista off the block, it falls in, and it is going to be 7 set points for Cignal.
And this is the point of Coach Kung Fu earlier.
Service into the net for Ayala Estraniero.
Still pulled off the bench.
Jem Gutierrez back in the game for Army along with Mary Jean Barce. This is 6 set points for Cignal. Can they close it out here? They go to Abriam. Bautista, blocked. Barce, yes! Another set point saved by Army.
Great set, great timing as well by Balse. Pababa na yung blockers.
And what an angle as well. She saw Meneses right in front of her. So she went hard right and scored. Gutierrez with another good serve. Abriam. Chance to attack. Perez with a 1-2 play. Estraniero will set it up. Dakis is rejected. Another set point saved by Army.
The Army team has come to life.
Yeah. This is great effort defensively by Army, forcing Coach Kirk Biliran to call a timeout. We'll listen to Cignal.
Spikers, ready lang. Yeah. Pasa mo na, pasa.
Tapos na.
Go.
One pass. Coach Kirk is trying to break the momentum on the side of Army. We also heard Meneses asking for a play. We just need 1 point to close this set.
Short stint as center though for Ayala Straniero as Jel Cayuna is back in the game. Still 4 set points for Cignal. Baptiste with the left hand. Ball is still alive. Cayuna to Meneses and she delivers. Meneses. That's going to be her 6th point. But it's a big one as that gives Cignal a 2-1 advantage over Army, winning set number 3, 25-20. Cignal HD Spikers winning set number 3, 25-20, and they lead 2-1 against Army Black Mamba. We'll see some of the highlights here. It was a neck-and-neck affair in the third set before Cignal pulled away midway through the set, and they never looked back.
A lot of focus on the side of Cignal. A lot of adjustments as well, taking the learnings they had from the previous sets, targeting those end lines on the side of Army.
Back here inside the Pillar Flying V Center for the first game of our Invitational Conference. Hi everybody, thank you for watching us. Eric Tipan alongside Andre Mulacanda and Franny Reyes. This is the first game of our opening day doubleheader. We're going to have Choco Mucho and Cherry go head-to-head in just a little bit. Set number 4 underway, Gonzaga. And we're starting off with a long rally here. Molina, that is dug up by Agno. Here comes Bautista with a tip. Meneses with a counter tip. Back row, Morente. Yes!
She wasn't able to score much at the net, but at least in the back row, Morente getting that point.
Army draws first blood in set number 4. 1-0. Coach Kung Fu Reyes was calmed down a little bit after a heated exchange with our first referee, Fernando Velarde.
There have been a number of calls, Eric, in this match, which we know Coach Kung Fu is not happy about.
Good serve by Ivy Perez. Jonella with the pass. Oh, combination play that went awry as Balse and Bautista unable to decide as to what they were going to do with the pass. What happened there, Ann?
It seemed like Balse apologized actually to Bautista. No? So there could have been confusion. Sino ba ang kukuha ng bola? So it wasn't clear to them. Miscommunication.
Wasted opportunity and a free point given up by Army. It could have gone 2-0. Instead, it's 1-1, but Bautista makes up for the error. Scores there on the attack. Bautista has been playing very well today. 14 already in the game.
But so is Molina on the other side. Molina has been very consistent getting kills for Cignal HD.
12 already for Molina. She is the leading scorer now for Cignal. Let's go to Franny Reyes.
What Cignal needs to improve on. We've been seeing very close sets between these two teams, and she told me that they were lacking in consistency and in their offense and defense. Now, in the last set, we saw that they also upped their aggression, and we saw that especially from the veterans. So we can expect them to keep up that aggression for this set and for them to be more consistent in their plays, avoiding those unforced errors so that they can close this game.
Thank you, Franny. Well, that's the plan. They lead by 1 here and make that they're tied at 3 with a service error by Jel Cayuna. Oh, yeah, that's definitely a lift. A double contact is going to be called against Cayuna.
For the fans of Cignal, they are hoping that they don't go back to the mistakes earlier. Ang kanilang challenge was the first ball.
Molina through the double block. After that long rally to start the first point of set number 4, it's been short and sweet for both these teams in the last few plays. Good pass. Gonzaga down the line. Yes. Scored right in front of Jack Janela, too.
That was very fast. Look at how quick the ball landed.
Good serve. Not a good pass from Janela. Here comes Dakis, who is blocked at the net.
Maybe that spike for a little bit for Dakis.
So from offense to defense, Army lead by 2. There's Molina. Good pass by Bautista. 1-2 play for Ivy Perez. Another block on Dakis. Down the line attempt is no good. It's wide for Araneta.
Cignal unable to score a point. It's unusual that they are struggling with their offense. Dakis has tried. Araneta also committing that error.
Cignal down by 3. There's Doria finally stops that run by Army.
Doria also highly efficient in this match.
Yep. 12 points for make that. I think this is going to be. No, this is just her 12th point for Rose Doria. So a 2-point game. Another 1-2 play attempt there for Perez. Back row for Bautista. Wasn't a strong attack, but Cayuna unable to bring it back up. And Army leads by 3, 8-5 over Cignal, set number 4. Back inside the Philoil Flying V Center. Army in a good position here early in set number 4, leading by 3, 8-5 against Cignal, but they are down 2-1. Cayuna back to Dakis. Bautista against 2 blockers. Janela will set it up again to Rachel Ann Dakis. Villarreal rejected by Dakis. Cignal will score.
Well, for Army Black Mamba, it's important that they protect this lead. Be in that comfortable position where they don't have to play catch up with Cignal.
Yep. Must-win situation if you're Army Black Mamba. Bautista with the tip. Araneta was right there. Free ball. Bautista again. Cayuna. Back row. And Morente unable to save it. Molina will score.
So much power even from the back row from this lady.
Love the effort of Mitch Morente. Army's lead is just 1 now. They led by as many as 4 points. Perez goes back to Nene Bautista. That play has been read. Dakis from the other side, and Dakis is fired up once again as she ties the game at 8.
The tighter blocking here on the side of the Army Black Mamba. Look at that, just a single block.
Great setting as well by Jel Cayuna. Able to divide the blockers of Army up. Army's lead is gone. Cignal can take the advantage here. Villarreal rejected again, and this time Dakis and her defense gives Cignal the lead, 9-8. What happened to Army all of a sudden, Ann?
Right now, I think they as we take a look at that block from Dakis, at this point, they're unable to find that person who can score for them. Gonzaga and Bautista have been the ones carrying the load for the team. And now that they've read Bautista, it's been a challenge to look at, you know, who can support and who else can score.
Go back to Bautista. Nuna with a great save. Chance ball here. Dakis, block. Pushed by Meneses. And save is not good enough as the run continues for Cignal HD Spikers. They lead by 2 now. Forcing Coach School Flores to call a very early timeout.
Tayo umatake. Sila nagsaserve, tayo umatake. Sila ang pumupuntos. Ngayon, takot na takot yung umatake. Ano kung mablock? Kasi naman binibigyan nyo lang na Sige yung depensa niya, pagbalik sa atin, umuupakan tayo.
Bakit ganyan? Bakit
Yun,
ganyan?
patanggalin na.
Lakasan mo, bardahin mo. Hindi ka ganyan sa training, lakas ang palo mo.
Bigyan kayo ng bola, yung atake. Atakein nyo na ng atake, may coverage naman eh.
Sa bang pasa?
Iniiwasan nyo ma-block, pagbalik naman sa atin, uupakan naman tayo. Di ilaban nyo na. Ay di, hindi, ang problema, hindi ka rin humihingi ng bola eh. Walang control, kailangan mo mag-control kasi kayo ang gumagalaw sa loob. Wala na kami magagawa ba?
Dalawa naman nila pagtatransfer.
Kaning! Kaning!
Hey, Arme!
Jel Cayuna and the rest of Cignal on a huge run here. By the way, we saw Via General for the first time in the libero position. There she is for Cignal. Got 2 touches, kept the rally alive for Cignal.
And you know what's impressive with the way Cignal is playing right now, even if it's coming from a fast play or return from the opponent, they still manage to execute plays. Nakikita natin like that last series, they ended it with quick sets.
Joanne Bunag is back in the game for Army, and she delivers right away.
She did score earlier and closed out the set.
That was set number 2. Let's see if she can be a spark again for Arby here in set number 4. Cayuna had to chase that one down. Free ball. Another block. Rachel Andakis just in the last 3 minutes has had 2 straight blocks against Arby.
I think this is where Perez has to rethink, no, when she would opt for that hit. Ang sabi ni Coach Kung Fu, pag nakita mong hindi ka sinabayan, that's the time you go for it.
Two-point advantage for Dakis and Cignal. Point given up by Cignal. Violation called against them by Fernando Velarde. Kirk Biliran looking for some clearance. No contest or not much of a contest for Cignal there. 1-point game. Cayuna. Setting violation, double contact again on Cayuna.
These errors to the benefit of Army Black Mamba.
There's Kirk Biliran, assistant coach, calling the shots today for Cignal. Again, getting clarification from Fernando Velarde, our first referee. Velarde has been a lot stricter on those Cayuna sets from afar. As Ivy Perez gets an ace and Army is back on top by 1.
That serve going to Dakis.
Combination play. That was blocked. Cayuna with a 1-2 play. Her first attempt. But that's an overreach call against Cayuna.
Now,
Take a look here, Ann. You guys be the judge. Right now, some favorable calls for Army. They gives them a 2-point advantage. Free ball given up by Army. Back row attack, Dakis. That is outside.
losing a bit of composure here on the side of Cignal HD.
This time, Cignal will call a timeout. They are down by 3, 14-11.
Ayan yun na yung tawag ng referee. Ha? Okay lang yun, bawi tayo. Ano lang yan, tatlo lang yan. Isa-isa lang. Pasa muna, pasa, tapos magandang atake tayo. Tapos pag nag-recover nila, block tayo, block. Ha? Okay, go, go, go.
Malayo pa yung kapit. Let's go! Tatlo lang yan natin. Kapit, let's
Anjali Araneta and the rest of Cignal HD Spikers down by 3, 14-11. Right in the middle of set number 4. It's been a seesaw battle between these two teams. There was a point Army was leading by 4, and it was erased by a run of Cignal, and they led by as many as 3-4 points. But now Army is back on top by 3.
What we've noticed though, no, on the side of Army Black Mamba is yung mga hugot from the bench has really worked for them.
Definitely. Bunag, Balse have been major contributors. There's Bunag, the second touch. Back row attack there by Gonzaga is no good.
Army still has the lead, but they need to work in order to maintain this. We've seen how fast, Cignal can catch up.
Bunag is blocked. Gonzaga. That's picked up by Meneses. Doria. Gonzaga with the tip. Molina. Great dig from Morente. Balse. Balse will try again. Blocked by Doria. Molina. There's Nunab. Gonzaga. That's a check ball. That's a check ball. Gonzaga will score.
Well-deserved point here for Army Black Mamba. We saw how they really dove to keep the ball alive. Defense was there. And in the end, Gonzaga scoring off the block.
What a long rally. That was an exhausting one. 15 serving 12. Set 4. Great pass by Jack Jonella. Morente goes above the blockers. There's Cesc Molina.
Molina has been very consistent. We keep mentioning her name throughout this match. She's been one of the go-to attackers of Cayuna, be it in front or at the back.
19 points now for Cesc Molina.
Oh wow, just 6 points shy of making it 1 set.
Service ace for Cayuna. Former Lady Tamarao making it a 1-point game. 14-15. Oh, back-to-back aces as Nudag with a poor attack on the receive.
And just like that, Eric, they are tied at 15. Yun ang sinasabi natin, ang bilis humabol nitong Cignal HD. Really utilizing either yung kanilang opensa. In this case, service pa lang. They're making it already a way for them to score the point.
Another poor first ball, but Gonzaga able to get the body language working. And the ball angled inside. Off the block, there's Araneta with the point. Then Cignal overtaking Army and sending us to our second technical timeout. 16-15. HD Spikers on top against the Troopers. It is a 1-point game. Cignal leading by 1 here. But they throw away a point. So we're tied at 16. If you're Army, what do they need to do to secure this set, Anne, and maybe make a bit of a run here?
I think it's an overall game at this point. They need to do everything flawlessly, starting with the first ball and their defense. That's been the thing that Cignal HD has been taking advantage of. Talagang hindi kinahabol nila lahat ng buta sa depensa ng Army.
(17-16) Cignal. Here's Gonzaga. Through the block. Yeah, that's going to be a violation. That's a lift against Dakis. So 17 all. It's anybody's set right now. Great dig by Gonzaga. Here's Morente into the net. These are things that Army must avoid.
And Morente, after that stellar first set, she had a very good start. Hasn't gotten back her footing. Really, nakita natin na bantayan na kasi siya ng Cignal blockers.
But if you're Army, you're thinking that one mistake is just a 1-point deficit.
They need quick recovery at mabilisang bawi because, again, Cignal HD, we can see how aggressive they are.
There's a Morente block. Araneta will try again. Gonzaga from the back row. Payuna. Timuneses. Nunag. Gonzaga again. Araneta. There's a net violation going to be called against Army. I think it's on Morente.
Morente with a violation. And these are the things that you would like to avoid. That was very clear, no? She touched the tape of the net, crossed her foot also.
So Honey Royce Tubino is in the game for the second time today. She hasn't seen much action. You're wondering if she was injured because she was one of the key players for Army in the Open Conference.
She's not seen a lot of minutes in today's match, but let's see.
Here we go. Tubino is blocked. Gonzaga from the other side. Dakis. Bunag with the up. Tubino. Wait a minute.
Oh.
A double contact against Perez.
Coach Kung Fu not liking that call again, Eric.
We'll call a timeout. Take a look. We'll listen to the timeout of Coach Kung Fu Reyes.
Na ganyang error setter, nag-error pag ganyang diktikan. Yung character ba nawawala eh. Naintindihan mo, sayang yung lakas ng spiker kung i-double ng setter. Okay, isang pasa ulit tayo. Kalimutan na yon. Ha, kailangan natin mag-recover. 3 pa lang. Huwag yun ang pahabayan. Nahihirapan tayo pagdating sa dulo. Ay, maximize yung spiker. Kailangan makarating. Sayang yung depensa, sayang yung block. Simpleng error lang, ha? Tapusin natin ang mga error.
A lot of pressure on the shoulders of Ivy Perez for sure.
Playmaking, decision-making, that's one thing, no, that I think Cignal has with Cayuna. Cayuna has really been delivering a lot of excellent plays today. Pinaiikot ang kanyang mga attackers. There's a lot of variety as well.
Well, she is the best setter coming out of the Open Conference. Villarreal. Great dig from Molina. Here comes Takis. Again, sacrificing her body. Gonzaga. Tubino with a push. He's blocked. Oh, no, actually, it's 4 touches against Army. And now the lead is 4 for Cignal.
We need players to step up. On the side of Army, Black Mamba.
Perez with a 1-2 play again. Here comes Araneta with the cross court. Morente. Cayuna sets it up back to Araneta. Oh, and Araneta keeps finding these open spots.
You know, gotta credit Cayuna really making all of her attackers look very good.
Cignal right now pulling away. This is now a 5-point advantage. Coach Doria serving 22-17. Passes have been really good for Army. And Morente makes something out of that.
Finally scores a point again.
Just when it looked like a broken play, Mitch Morente delivers. But it's still a 4-point deficit for Army. Great receive there by Molina. Oh, what a dig there by Bunag. Dakis, chance for Army right now. Bunag attacks. Morente with the up. Back row, Gonzaga, block. Gonzaga.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
that was clearly a double. Now you see the frustration already on the face of Gonzaga, yung kanyang expression. She's exerted a lot of effort, but just not enough to really stop.
and she's probably tired as well. She hasn't taken a minute of rest the entire match. There's Villarreal punching it through. That is big question now if your Army is, will the effort be enough for them to come back here? They're down by 4 as Balse comes back in. Service specialist Jem Gutierrez comes back in. Be a tall order for Gutierrez here. She has to overhaul this 4-point deficit. Molina, again Gonzaga with an excellent dig. Bunag.
Oh, that return or save from Gutierrez was too strong also for Bunag.
And now Cignal with 5 match points, 24-19.
And here silence on the side of the Army Black Mamba.
Oh, that serve is long. Dakis throws away one of 5 match points. They do have 4 more. And they'll be on the attack here.
Game is not yet over, but this means that everything has to be flawless on the side of Army, and they probably need to pray also that Cignal won't score any points.
A lot of prayers.
A lot of prayers needed.
A little bit of luck. Oh, and they throw it away on the serve by Ivy Perez. Obviously, that's going to hurt. The errors, defensive lapses, miscues offensively for Army. And in the meantime, what can you say about, or what can't you say about Cignal and the way they played today?
You know, it's been an impressive performance from Cignal today. A lot of contribution from the different players we had on the floor.
4-set win for Cignal over Army. 4-set win by Cignal HD Spikers over the Army Black Mamba Lady Troopers. As you see on your screens, second set, Army turned it around, but they were unable to in the next 2 sets, although they did fight in the end. It was a lot of neck and neck, a lot of exchanges. Biggest lead by Cignal was between 4 to 5 points, so it wasn't significant. There was a chance for Cignal to come back, as you see highlights here of our best player of the game.
Jalcayuna was very consistent in making her attackers look very good. She, had very good calls as well when it came to plays, kahit nagaling sa mabilisang balikan, Cayuna taking risks in that match.
Coming off the Best Setter award from the Open Conference in 2022, Jalcayuna is now our best player of the game, and she is with Franny Reyes.
Yes, congrats, Jel, on your first win of the conference. Now,
Thank you.
I wanted to ask, you guys were down the second set. What adjustments did you make as the team setter to take the last 2 sets and to finish the game strong?
Yun po, yung ginawa po namin na adjustment talaga yung service receive namin kasi nung second set dun kami nagkulang eh. Kaya nung third set na nakaka-atake na kami ng quick and nagkakaroon na kami ng combination. And syempre yung communication din sa loob ng court kasi yun yung pinaka-importante talaga.
Now, napansin ko rin nung second set, medyo naging tense yung team nyo. Pero lagi nyo sinisigaw sa huddle yung happiness signal. So, gaano ka-importante yung happiness sa laro nyo as a team?
Syempre sa volleyball naman, madami kami. Kaya kailangan talaga na happy ka talaga kasi pang-boost din yun ng moral ng bawat isa. Ayun po, sobrang important. Kaya happiness signal.
Alright, thank you so much, Jel.
Papa.
Congrats again. Back to the panel.
Thank you, Franny. Congratulations, Jalcayuna, and so impressive to see how Jalcayuna has improved from her time with FEU and then on to here where she again won the Best Setter award in the 2022 Open Conference.
Shows a lot of maturity, a lot of experience, and leadership, from Cayuna.
You see the crossovers warming up as they are set to see the Flying Titans next. Right here on One Sports. Thank you to our director, Al Neri. For Franny Reyes, my partner, Andrew Bunyakanda, and Eric Tipan. We'll catch you in just a little bit for our second game on opening day of the Invitational Conference of the Premier Volleyball League.